healing, hope, community, a place to heal, relax, be yourself, and be surrounded by those who want to see you blossom and or bloom. I am Jessica, Sup, a Reiki master, teacher, and intuitive, and welcome to your nightly or daily or whenever you come self-care routine. And of course that will require me to actually have videos nightly. It's a process. So if you're new, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. It's so lovely to see you and just wanting to share this space of reflection, gratitude, and peace. So what we do is we have healing sessions. Sometimes we talk about, mystical stuff, and sometimes we just chit chat. But there is a mini theme alert. There is a community post where I explain everything, but I wanted to explain to you all what is happening with this energy that's going on around us and explain it, how to use it, and have a healing session. So surprise day one of Go Get It July is some extra shit. So let's get into it. Okay, so as I was looking at the planetary alignment, I was looking at, okay, so what's going on right now? Like, what are the different things that are going on? And so each one of the videos that you see for the rest of the month, yes, the rest of the month, baby, I planned it out. It's all good, okay? For the rest of the month will be videos that are themed for each planet and how it's going to impact you and how we can clear some stuff out to just make it nice and viable for you to be able to just get the most out of it. You feel me? Okay. So our first planet will be Jupiter. Oh, who doesn't love Jupiter? Like, I think out of all of the Sailor Scouts, Jupiter had to been the baddest, right? Because they were like tall and just, that really pretty green, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. So, Jupiter, just explain a little bit before we actually get into the healing session, and I'm going to probably burn some cinnamon as we are doing our thing. But to explain Jupiter, Jupiter is the planet of luck. Jupiter is a positive planet. Everybody loves Jupiter, okay? But there are some scenarios in which you probably don't want Jupiter in certain places, but it's really not that important. But I'll give you a little sneak peek. Like, if you have Jupiter in your first house, you might eat a lot, because Jupiter is the planet of expansion and growth. The first house is how you present into the world, but I mean that depends on you. I mean, who doesn't love a good meal? I do. Or if you have Jupiter maybe in the 12th house, and you may have, or actually Jupiter in the 8th house, which represents Scorpio things, it could represent like having a lot of debt, or honestly becoming wealthy through like debt collection or stuff like that. But that's actually not really important right now. The only thing that's important is what the fuck is going on with Jupiter right now. So again, Jupiter is the planet of luck. Jupiter is the traditional ruler of both Sagittarius and Pisces, and because Jupiter is in Pisces, it feels very comfortable here, okay? And so I made a cute little list of all of these things. First, let me just go in and clear some of that out. And of course, we are going to say a prayer. Don't you forget about that. Okay, and if you're new to the community, before our sessions, we say a prayer just to bring us together. It is not a religious prayer. What you come into this space knowing or believing or not believing, that's your business. That don't got nothing to do with me. But just holding a collective space. And what I like to burn is cinnamon. I feel like it is a very grounding herb. I feel like it has less appropriation issues, and I think that it is pretty common. A lot of people may have this already in their household. Really easy to use. You'd be surprised. There's so many herbs that you can use in the healing space. So just breathing that in and out. And I know you all can see Mama got her claws back. Oh, I just feel like myself. I didn't know what to do with myself. They're babies right now, but they gonna grow. as I'm just working with your energy here, I'm probably going to get a little bit closer. Because why not? We're all family here. As I'm working with your energy here, just be in a restful state, a relaxed state, a receptive state. That's the best way to get the most out of this. Okay. So, if there's any images that pop up, any thoughts, you might want to write it down, or you might want to sit and reflect with it later in this moment, or whatever it is you do to process. Okay. So, to finish explaining Jupiter, the planet of luck, expansion, it is the gas planet. So, when we think about expansion, we can take on these qualities of Sagittarius, which are traveling far, right? Seeing the big picture. You know, you don't get tripped up over the little details because it's about expanding and growth. And when you're expanding, you're not really thinking like, is this sustainable? You're just expanding. And then when you look at Jupiter with Piscean energy, it is boundarylessness. Even though Neptune is the modern day ruler, the traditional ruler of Pisces was Jupiter. And Jupiter feels so comfortable in Pisces because it is expansive boundarylessness energetically, internally, underneath the veil. You know, that's when we're getting into the channeling trance, being able to work on an energetic level. So all of that stuff really comes up with that energy with Jupiter. Now, where my list? Because Mama knows. We got a lot of growth, okay? Let me see. I wrote it down too. Okay. So, first things first, understand that currently Jupiter is in, and I'm just still going to work on your energy at the same time, okay? Jupiter is in Pisces in retrograde, okay? And it's very important to understand for the rest of the year, there's going to be this Jupiter in Pisces. It's going to go into Aquarius, then it's going to go back into Pisces, okay? And then you also have the retrograde period too. So for those who are completely new to astrology, don't know what in the world I'm talking about, let me explain to you. Each planet, okay, transits different signs, and that journey takes on different qualities in our life and shows up in different ways. Jupiter in Pisces is all about healing the unconscious trauma. It is, if I could reduce it down, regardless of if you believe in a higher power or not, that's your business, it's okay. If I could use this a term, it's let go and let God. It is not about being mental, analytical, things like that. It's about just letting the energy in the universe flow in the direction that it needs to flow in. So Jupiter, which is expansion, ultimately your growth and where you're going, and Pisces is saying, trust that God will lead you there, trust that the universe will lead you there, trust that, you know, whatever it is that you believe in, don't feel limited by the semantics of what I'm saying, but, you know, whatever it is that you believe in, that is your kind of groundedness in life, just let go and let it be, because that is where you're going to flow. And so it lets you know that you don't have to put in as much effort and as much work as maybe if Pisces was in, maybe if Jupiter was in Leo, you know, where you want to be assertive, you want to go after it, stuff like that. Now, the way that I just described Jupiter and Pisces, I described Jupiter and Pisces direct, Jupiter and Pisces retrograde. So when a planet is going in retrograde, it appears to us where we're at to be going backwards, you know, instead of like it's just kind of going, no planet technically goes backwards. It's an optical illusion. It's just kind of going in like this cycle before it's continuing to flow around. And so when things are in retrograde, it is not about the external. It's not about the type of growth of like going into that Pisces energy and being like, oh, you know, I'm just traveling where the universe takes me. It is more about you're receiving information for reflection. So Jupiter in Pisces in retrograde, there's going to be some deep-seated traumas that come up that are most likely unconscious, or let's not even use the word trauma, I'm going to say issues that arise that need to be resolved. And usually what happens when there are things that are uncomfortable that happen to us, or just that have happened, when they resurface and they come back, you have two choices: to process and learn your best way of like flowing through it and getting through it, or to sink back into old habits and old behaviors. And it's one of two ways you can look around and see within yourself and other people what they're doing. So it might be like scary to have to process things that you're like, ugh, but it is the best thing for you, and just to trust that the universe will always have your back. You're not being punished for anything. All it is just an opportunity for self-reflection and growth, because when it hits direct, it's going to amplify what you have learned, and what you are learning now, you will be able to help others. That's why you're going through it. So don't think about it in the perspective of it is a negative, or it's just like like a roadblock. Think of it as, okay, I'm going to pay attention to what's going on, so that later on I can help others who are going through something similar. Now, Jupiter in Aquarius vibes are a bit different, whereas Pisces is all about the trusting in the universe. It is the belief. Pisces is everything about belief, so just trusting in God, taking you, universe taking you where you need to go, or receiving the messages you need. Aquarius energy is all about your social networks. It's not hierarchical, meaning like you're the parent or who is the boss, stuff like that. That is Capricorn energy. It is your web of people. So when Jupiter, which is expansive, goes into Aquarius, which it's going to spend most of its retrograde doing that, what's going to happen is that you are going to be, your social network is almost going to wrap a blanket around you, and you're going to receive the information that you need for your ultimate development and growth there. So that might even make you consider what is your impact in the world, or to sit and reflect on who you actually want to be in your life, and all of those things. Like, when I say who you want to actually be in your life, I mean, what people do you want to actually share this life within this space? Because those who are not so healthy, they will disperse during that time, or there will be a dissonance, and those who are, they will come and wrap around you. But that is Jupiter in Aquarius in retrograde. Jupiter in Aquarius direct means you will expand your social network, more people, more connections, and things like that. So let me run it back a little bit. If Jupiter is in Aquarius in retrograde, you're receiving the information you need from your network. It doesn't matter if it expands or not, because it's internal. It's not external yet. It doesn't matter. But July 28th and on, that is when Jupiter in Pisces, that is when Jupiter will go into Aquarius, and that energy all the way until October 18th will be that internal direct. You're going to receive what you need when it comes to ultimately what is your growth, what makes you a better person, what is your self-development. It could even, it's the planet of career too, of career expansion and things like that. So you're going to get all that self-development you need from that July 28th to October 18th. So all of that is going to happen during that time. But as soon as that October 18th, of course, there's always transitional periods, but when October 18th is released, and you will be, or have, or we will all have Jupiter in Aquarius direct, then that's if you did the work. That is when your network significantly expands and just blows up. If you did not do the work, that is really when maybe you'll have to work on the things you should have been working on in retrograde during those times. So I hope that wasn't too confusing, but I'm trying to explain to you how things can show up in your life. Things can happen, things can impact you, but understand there's always something kind of hovering above. And there's many modalities to help explain these phenomena that are happening. And I just, like to kind of pull from astrology at time to time. So maybe a little bit more cinnamon. I have a cute little tourmaline piece too. Because why not? Who doesn't enjoy a good grounding from time to time? So let me see. Okay. So just putting that a little bit on you. Okay. So we know what Jupiter means. We know what Jupiter in retrograde means. We know what Jupiter in Pisces means. Jupiter in Aquarius means. Jupiter and Pisces. Jupiter in Pisces and Aquarius also known as your first house, then you will know your houses. If you don't know your rising sign, you don't know what time you were born, it's okay, don't worry about the house stuff. But if you do, this is really important because it tells you what part of your life Jupiter will impact the most, okay? So, for example, if you were born with Jupiter in Cancer, that might mean that you have a big family, or you might want a big family, or you feel really comfortable in a big family. If you have Jupiter in Capricorn, you might feel really comfortable in large businesses, large institutions, or want to be building or find your greatest luck in those areas. For me, my Jupiter is in Leo, so I really enjoy kind of taking the lead on a lot of stuff, or liking to expand the things that I'm interested in, or if there's something I like, I just like jump in it and go for it kind of thing. And it just depends on you. So you have to compare your relationship of who you are naturally versus what's coming up. So for example, when I just gave myself saying that my Jupiter is naturally in Leo, and Jupiter versus Pisces energy, naturally I'm a very reflective person, but if I wasn't, this probably would be much more difficult. And the reason why is because when Leo and Jupiter wants to take an action, they want to go and go after it. When Jupiter in Pisces wants to take an action, they will let go and allow the universe to flow. So if I was trying to, just force my way into it, I would not be learning the lessons that I need to learn. So it still comes up and I'll be like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But it's like, take the time off and just allow it to flow. That's actually a part of the reason why I've been taking so much time off, because I was like, look, just allow it to flow. Just allow that thing to flow. The second thing is your houses, okay? What we were just talking about, what house it's in. Your first house takes on Aries qualities, second Taurus qualities, third Gemini qualities, and all the way around, even though the houses themselves are in signs. For example, your seventh house, which represents partnerships, represents marriage. That is the natural qualities of Libra, even though it will be in another sign. So for example, if your seventh house is in Cancer, that means it means your rising sign, because your seventh house is your descendant, your first house is your ascendant. So that means your rising sign is Capricorn. The astrological opposite of Capricorn is Cancer. That means you are probably a go-getter. You're very assertive. You're all this. And so when you look at a partnership, you're looking for someone who's maybe a little bit more compassionate, a little bit more nurturing, a little bit more kind of go with the flow kind of energy, to balance out. So if Jupiter was in your seventh house, that means a lot of this work or these themes would be in that area. But if it's in your seventh house, it's not in your sixth house, meaning maybe work is not a problem, like maybe, or your third house, which has to do with your everyday routines. So maybe your routines and stuff are off. So that's why I love astrology, because it really helps to explain a lot of what is going on here. So you gotta go out there. You can use free online natal charts to just do some comparing. Now, here are the important dates to remember, okay? Jupiter went into Pisces on May 13th and will continue to July 28th, okay? July 28th to December 28th, it will be in Aquarius, okay? And then December 28th till majority of 2022, it will jump back into Pisces. Now, within that happening, okay, here, there, within that happening, Jupiter itself went into retrograde and will be retrograde in both signs. It started off retrograde June 20th in Pisces, and on June 28th, it will be in Aquarius, but still in retrograde, all the way till October 18th. So you have to work on these themes, and if you need to rewind the video and just kind of watch it over again, you have to work on both of these themes of the Pisces and the Aquarius energy. But just know, when you do the work, when things go direct, it just is amazing. It really is very beautiful to see what happens. It almost looks like, oh, it's easy. You didn't do this, or you didn't do that, or you didn't, like a overnight success in whatever area of your life, when it's really, you did all of this work. You did all of this work behind the scenes, okay? So I'm just gonna take this moment to just go in and check on the energy. As a energy healing practitioner, I use various modalities as just a naturally curious person and a person who really enjoys learning about mysticism. I'm constantly learning about, different areas and interests and stuff like that. So I don't necessarily feel that I need to stick to Reiki. Reiki is just one of many modalities, and Reiki is a relatively new type of energy healing. And so there's just so much out there that we can use in the moment. And when I train others, I train them with that mentality. I give you a foundation in Reiki, but I expect you to go on and continue to learn and expand, because if you're only going to do Reiki for the rest of your life, you will be limiting yourself from learning, being a new experience, to be growing. You got so much of life. There's so much to learn, okay? And all of that. So, in the moment, just bringing that energy down and through, okay? Down and through. And I'm excited, y'all. We are nearing our 500th video. I'm like, holy shit, when the fuck did that happen? We are nearing our 500th video, and it has been a lovely journey. Thank you for allowing me to hang out with you 500 times. I guess we're close, right? We have to be close if we're chilling for 500 times. Okay. Also would like to add, it is Go Get It July, so that means you have these big crunchy goals as you are going to the next level. And the theme this month of Go Get It July has everything to do with less is more. How do you take it to the next level without just exerting all this energy? And that's a lot of the properties that are coming up when we talk about these different planets and how they're impacting, and just allowing the universe to work with you. If you need extra support, head on over to the Patreon community where there's extra supplemental support, and we're going to have our energy healing circle that's coming up soon. It's only $3.33 a month. It's inexpensive. So feel free to share that, and you have access to all the previous content. Okay. Good. Just relax there. And I just want to check in with you all, just in general, like, how has everything been? How have you been? How have you been going through things? Change, 100% change, 100% like day and night difference of things. And that's kind of like, well, I was going to use the term sexy. It's kind of spicy. Let's say spicy, but then it can also be a little scary with like things that are, changing like that. Okay. Just moving the energy through. Okay. And just breathe for me normally. And just relax into it. And just continuing to go this way. I am still very busy with these trainings, putting together the Reiki Master trainings, and I'm actually going to be doing an additional training for everyone. It's actually going to be more of a program for those who maybe are not interested in going to be an energy healing practitioner, but still want to utilize these properties and principles on themselves as they're going through their journey. So I'm working on that too. And yeah. Sometimes I wish there were two of me, so one can watch TV all day and the other one can actually do the work, maybe. So I'm just going to pull out anything that may have come up during the session. Again, use this time to reflect if you need to. Use this time to connect in with your deepest self. Okay? And honestly, with a lot of change, a lot of movement, honestly, I think it's probably really, really positive. Like, I mean, really positive. Ultimately, like, you are ascending into a whole nother level. And so here's just a little bit of the work you have to do, specifically when we're talking about Jupiter, to get there. Now, baby, I ain't talked about no other planets yet, so there's always a myriad of things happening, because the term aspect, which is the relationship that one planet has to another, that impacts shit too. That definitely most fulfilling things I've ever done. The sweetness of you, the kindness of you, the showing up for yourself, because at the end